I'm Chris Bryant, CCIE number 12933, and welcome to this video where we're going to practice our troubleshooting skills a bit on a pod of live Cisco routers and switches. I'm going to bring the topology up here in just a moment. We already have some of the configuration in place, and as you can see, I'm on switch 2 right now checking my trunk, and that PO1 is an ether channel. Now that's not exactly what we are troubleshooting today, maybe. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more about ether channels, please check out my other YouTube videos and the videos on my website. And I've also got some free webinars up on the main site coming up where I'll show you how to configure one live. But right now, this is what we're concentrating on. Very straightforward configuration here with two routers. They're both using their Ethernet 0 interfaces here. You see the IP addresses that have been assigned. You see we have two switches involved, which is why I was checking the trunk there. Because a problem that we're running into, if we go up to router 2, is right now if we send a ping to 172.23.23.3, we're getting the dreaded 5 periods, which of course is exactly what we do not want with the ping. We want to see 5 exclamation points there. And just this simple little configuration that we're looking at here. Two Ethernet interfaces, a couple of switches, but a couple of different things can go wrong. And the first thing that we want to do anytime we're troubleshooting, and the real key to becoming a world-class troubleshooter for both your exams and the real world, is really developing a structured approach. It's not as formal as it sounds, but you got to have a starting point. And for me, what's worked well for me for years and for literally thousands of my students is to start at the physical layer of the OSI model. So just start at that physical layer. Are the cables in place, that kind of thing. And a good way to find out about that is your show interface command. Now, generally I'll use a shorter version, but this is the full command. And I'll scroll back up so we can take a look at the top part here. That's usually where the trouble begins. Well, right now we see a classic right off the bat that the interface is administratively down. So of course what we've got to do is run a no shutdown on this interface and then give it a moment to open up. So we just go interface E0, conf T interface E0 that is. Remember, whenever you see this caret, and this is a great indicator of where you went wrong, and when it's at the very beginning of what you typed in, you definitely went wrong early. And here I was not in the right mode, so I just did a conf T to go into configure mode. And now I'm going to do a no shutdown. That's the full command. I'll do a quick save while that opens. So now we're going to have the interface open, and if you were particularly eagle-eyed there, you might have noticed another issue, because so far so good. We'll let the line protocol come up, and then we'll send some more pings across. Also want to show you another little trick you might not be familiar with. Notice it says type escape sequence to abort, but doesn't tell you what it is. It's Control Shift 6 twice, once right after the other. I didn't terminate that one in time, but notice how that one went, it stopped after 1. And with 5 pings, it's not that big a deal, but if you're sending an extended ping, let's say you send 1,000 packets over, and you realize you want to stop that flow of packets, again, it's just Control Shift 6 twice, once right after the other. But one way or the other, we still don't have our connectivity here. So let's go back and take a quick look at the diagram again. And we do have a trunk there between our two switches, and also there's also the possibility that these two hosts are not in the same VLAN. So that would be a good thing to check real quick. So let's hop back down to switch 1. And this is show interface trunk. This is of course going to show you the interfaces that are trunking. And everything looks good there to me. Let's do a show VLAN brief. You can run show VLAN, but here I'm just going to run show VLAN brief. I'll scroll over a bit so you can see that this is a 12-port switch. 2 of the interfaces are trunking, and all of the other interfaces are indeed in VLAN 1. So we're in good shape there. Let's go over to our other switch. Never hurts to run show interface trunk again. Everything looks good here. Good command to be familiar with for the exam and for your lab and production networks. Again, I like to use show VLAN brief. And again, I'll quickly scroll over and you can see that again we're on another 12-port switch. 2 of them are trunking and the other 10 are all in VLAN 1. So everything there looks good at the switch level. We open the interface, so we're good there. We'll do another quick check. And you can see at the top, this is what we want to see. The interface is physically up and the line protocol is up. So far so good, except we still don't have connectivity. And the one drawback with a ping, it's a great starting point for your troubleshooting, but it really doesn't give you a lot of information. It just says you don't have connectivity. Well, we need to go beyond that, obviously. And what we're going to do here is run a debug that, again, you should never run debugs in a production environment unless you're sure of the result. And maybe not even then with this one, because this is going to result in a lot of output on your router. And here the command is debug IP packet, a great lab command. And we'll just go ahead and send the ping again and see if we get any clues this time as to exactly what's going on. And we're going to get 5 of the same result here, and you can see the word unroutable. If that sounds bad, that's because it is bad. Obviously, routing is what we're trying to do here. When you see unroutable, again, there are always a couple of reasons, right? We're in networking. But with a simple configuration like we've got here, we don't have any routing protocols running, but this is a directly connected network, so we don't need one. The issue here, and it's real easy to do, done it before in a lab environment when you get in a hurry, there is no IP address here. This is where you will see the router's or the interface's IP address, and we don't have one. So it wasn't enough just to open the interface. Obviously, we need to give it that address. And we'll do so here with the IP address command. And we're going to give that just a moment here, and I will send a ping back over, hopefully. And there we go. And you can see the first 4 went through. And you can see that the whole batch is going through now except that first one, and now after that we will get 100%. So again, as you can already see, a lot of jerking around there going on the screen with that with that debug IP packet, because it's just so much output from that. Definitely want to be careful with that in production networks. Again, I could have cut the debug off simply with no debug IP packet, but to turn them all off, which is what I like to do before I leave a site, I always just type UALL, which is short for undebug all. So either way you do it, that's the result you're going to get. So always more than one thing to look out for, whether it's on the exam, production network, lab environment, but that's how you troubleshoot. You get in there with debugs, you really dig in behind the command, if you will, and see what's going on, and that really serves you well on exam day as well. Thanks for taking just a few minutes out of your day to watch this particular video. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got quite a few other Cisco certification videos here for you to watch. Also invite you out to the website, thebryantadvantage.com. If you go straight to the tutorials page, I've got over 300 free Cisco certification tutorials for you now. Everything from written tutorials to videos to practice exams. So again, thanks for your time today. I'm Chris Bryant, CCIE number 12933, and I'll see you at the website.